So I'm going to start by telling you guys that way back in the day, even when I was a kid, but way before that, when Papa was a kid, kids used to take a string, a big long string, and they would get 2 soup cans that were empty. And on the one end, they would drill a little hole, put the string through it, and tie a knot so the string couldn't come out of the can, and they would do that on the other side. Then the kids would walk away from each other, and they would talk into the can, and the other kid would put it up to his ear, and you could hear each other. It worked kind of like a telephone, and that's what we called it, was the telephone game. Let's go play telephone. You guys understand that? Okay, so that's how our story's going to start. All right. Once upon a time, there was 2 little girls, and these little girls wanted to play telephone. So they went and asked Daddy, and Daddy got them 2 soup cans and a string, and he made the telephone. Well, man, they loved doing that. They would go out back, and they would tell all sorts of different stories over their telephone. And one day, they asked their daddy if they could see how long they could make the telephone before they couldn't hear each other anymore. And so they did a string. And oh man, they went through our whole backyard and over the fence into the other neighbor's yard. And the string was sitting over the fence, and the fence was metal. And so Lexi started saying, "Come in, Isabel, come in. Roger, Roger, come in, Isabel." And Izzy could hear just a little bit on her end. She could hear, "Isabel? Isabel?" She thought, I can't hear her very well. So she stepped up a little bit, and she talked into her telephone. "Breaker, breaker, Alexis. Breaker, breaker, Alexis, come in." And both Izzy and Lexi started hearing this weird crackling sound. And Lexi said, "Izzy, is that you?" Izzy said, "Lexi, is that you?" And they could hear bark, bark. And Lexi and Izzy went, "What the heck? Lexi, is that you making those funny sounds?" Izzy said, "Nope." Or Lexi said, "Nope." "All right, is it you?" And Izzy said, "No, where's it coming from?" And they heard it again. They were like, "What in the world?" So they sat and listened, and this sound kept going for back and forth. It went for a long time, and the sun went down. And still in the nighttime, they just sat there listening. And they thought, man, it's getting late. So Isabel just thought, "Hey, who's on this telephone line?" And they heard, and they could hear just a faint little sound. "Isabel? Alexis." "Izzy, was that you?" Alexis says. Izzy says, "No." "Was it you?" Alexis says, "No." And then they heard a little peekaboo. They thought, "What in the world? What is this? Who is this?" And the voice said, "Look up, look up." And both Izzy and Alexis looked up into the sky, and they saw a blue circle light. And it would go blue and purple and green and red and pink and blue. And it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Lexi grabbed her telephone and said, "Isabel! Isabel! Breaker, breaker! Isabel! It's a spaceship!" Isabel was listening with, "Lexis! Lexis! Breaker, breaker! I see it! Hurry, get in the backyard! Come to me!" So both Lexi and Izzy ran and hopped their fences and met up in the middle of the backyard. And just as they got together, the spaceship was right above them. and it was as big as a bedroom, just like this roof. Perfect circle, and it had the prettiest lights. Oh my gosh, colors you've never even seen before. And right in the middle, just like a light bulb like that, was this cool, it looked like lava. It was moving around, different colors. And Izzy and Lexi just stood there in awe. Oh, wow. And all of a sudden they heard this sound. And these arms came out of the spaceship. There was 3 arms. And it landed right on top of their trampoline. And Izzy and Lexi kind of got scared for a minute. It was like, oh my gosh, what if it's a mean alien? Oh no. And Lexi said, no way. I wonder if it was an alien on our telephone. He sounded nice. And Isabel goes, how do you know it was a boy? And all of a sudden they heard another sound. And it was a door that opened. And in this door came out all this fog. And they couldn't see what was inside the door, but they saw flashing lights. And all of a sudden, they saw the shape. The shape of a little alien. But he had a big diamond-shaped head, but rounder. And they could see big, round, purple eyes. Lexi and Izzy kind of got scared for a minute and hugged each other. And this little alien had super long arms and super skinny legs. But man, his fingers were humongous. And he was all sorts of different colors, kind of like a chameleon. He had some blue and orange and green and red. And he stood there, and he stood and looked at Izzy and Alexis. And all of a sudden, he goes, and he jumps down off the spaceship and lands on the ground. And he was just the right in between, as tall as Izzy and Alexis, just right in between the two of them. And Lexi and Izzy shook and went, hello, welcome to Earth. And the alien held up his fingers like this into a peace sign. And he whistled. Hello. And they went, and Lexi says, are you going to eat us? And the alien went, gross. And they laughed. And the alien said, you guys don't look yummy. You look really gross. And Izzy says, well, you hear all the stories of aliens that are going to come eat people or kill them. Are you going to kill us? The alien says, no, I need your help. Would you guys help me? Izzy and Lexus looked at each other and said, how could we help you? You're an alien. You're supposed to be really, really smart. The alien says, oh, I am really smart. But I'm only 8 years old, and I lost my mom and dad. We came to Earth to see your water slides. Oh, I love water slides. Izzy and Lexus says, water slides? You came all the way to Earth for water slides? And the alien says, well, yeah, and you have water where I'm from. No water. It's all lava. And Lexi said, ooh, lava. Lava's really cool looking. And they thought, well, check this out. And Lexi ran over to the hose and turned the hose on. And there was a sprinkler hooked up, and it, out came the water, and the alien, what is that? And Lexi says, that's a sprinkler. We like to run through it. Come on, Izzy. And Izzy and Lexi ran through the sprinkler and jumped through the sprinkler and got all wet. And the alien went, I'm going to try. And he had some funky big feet. So he went to run through the sprinkler, but he was kind of clumsy. And he tripped over the sprinkler. And he fell down. Oh no! and the sprinkler was caught on his big toe and was spraying him right in the face. So Lexi ran over there and grabbed the sprinkler and helped him and got it off his foot, and the alien went and they thought, wow, you really like water, huh? And he says, whoa, yeah, but it's not going up my nose. And so Lexi says, hey, we could take you to some water slides. There's a place called Seven Peaks that has water slides. But I don't know if they would let you in. Some people would be scared. And the alien says, oh, I have an idea. I'll go, you tell me where it is. And we'll fly the spaceship down there. And it's in the nighttime. No one will be there. Izzy says, well, yeah, but we can't turn on all the water. And the alien says, well, you forget. I'm really smart. He said, oh, yeah. Well, Lexi looks up at the alien and goes, all right, Mr. Smart Guy. My name is Alexis, and that is Izzy. But we don't know your name. And he looks at Alexis and goes, well, my name is... And Lexi and Izzy say, oh, we don't know what that means. What's your name in English, dude? He said, what is English? I said, that's English, what you're talking. He said, the only reason I know this language is because my magic necklace. It changes my language into your language. But my name does not compute. And they just thought, well, Mr. Alien, I think we'll just call you Alfred. And he laughed. Alfred, what a silly name. I said, well, it kind of fits you. So, Alfred, let's go. And they hopped on the alien spaceship. And, oh man, this spaceship was so cool inside. It was so shiny and had buttons everywhere and screens all over the place. Oh, it was great. And so the spaceship picked up and flew them right down to Seven Peaks. And they landed right in the middle of the water park. And they got out. And, oh, the moon was so big and glowing, they could see everything in the water park, even without the lights on. So they said, all right, Mr. Alfred, now what, smarty pants? And the alien took one finger on each of his hands, and he pointed them straight up, and then he touched his temples of his head. He went, and his fingers were going in circles like he was massaging his temples. And all of a sudden, they heard all the water turn on in the water park. And all the water slides start going. And the wave pool. Oh, man. They were so excited. It was a really warm summer night. It was like 82 degrees. It was perfect. And the water was like 78 degrees. Oh, man. It was so nice. And they ran and grabbed some inner tubes. And, oh, they went up to the biggest slide. And they ran up the stairs. And they get there. And Alfred was so excited. He's, ooh, I'm so excited, I'm so excited. And Izzy looked at Alfred and went, look out, goofball. And she ran and jumped on her tube and woof, right down the slide. Alexis looked at Alfred and said, she could be so rude sometimes. Alfred, you may go ahead in front of me. Alfred went to go down the slide, and he sat on his inner tube. But he just got a little scared. He went, oh no, I don't think I can do this. And Lexi said, why not? Ever since the water went up my nose, I'm kind of nervous. The water's going to go up my nose again. Lexi said, oh, but did you die? The alien said, well, no. Did it hurt you? No. So it just scared you? Oh, yes. Lexi said, but you were fine afterwards, huh? And Alfred goes, yes. So Alexis said, see, you have nothing to be scared of. And the alien went, well, I guess. And just right then, Alexis picked her foot up and kicked Alfred's inner tube. And oh, he went flying down the slide. And he went around and up and down the slide and around and faster and faster and faster and faster. And right at the bottom of the slide was this big bowl. And when you came into the bowl, you went around and around and around and around and around, just like a toilet. And all of a sudden, you went down the drain, and it spit you into this cool swimming pool. And he was going faster and faster. And he went down the tube and skidded right across the swimming pool. And he fell in the water. And Lexus was up at the top watching him, and she was just giggling like, that was funny. And she looked down, and oh, Alfred wasn't moving in the water. He was under the water still. And Izzy was just sitting there on the stairs. And Lexi went, oh no, I wonder if I hurt Alfred. And all of a sudden, Alfred jumped out of the water.
Wee-hoo! Holy cow, that was so much fun. Lexi, you buggerhead, you kicked me down.
And Lexi started giggling, and she jumped on her inner tube and went flying down as well. They got to the bottom, and Izzy says, oh, that was so much fun, now what? And they went and hit every single water slide in the whole entire park. And after that, Alfred wasn't scared anymore. He had so much fun. Well, all of a sudden, they heard a big boom. And they looked up to the sky because it sounded like a firework went off in the sky. And they could see a big, bright, orange circle. It almost looked like a sun. And it kept getting closer and closer, and it landed. It was another spaceship, and it landed in the middle of the park as well. And Alfred went, oh no. Next thing he went, what do you mean, oh no? What is that? He said, that's my mommy's car. He said, your mommy's car? I thought you said you couldn't find your parents. And Alfred said, well, I couldn't find them because I knew they weren't here. I didn't know if you guys were going to be nice to me, so I made up the story. Lexi and Izzy said, so you lied to us? And Alfred said, well, yes I did. And Lexi and Izzy were really sad. I said, Alfred, why did you lie to us? What is going to happen? What did you do? And just then they heard the doors open to the big spaceship. And it let out all the steam just like Alfred's little spaceship. And they could see Mommy and Daddy, Alfred's parents. They looked kind of the same, but just different colors. Dad had a gray head because he was a little older. But he had a wicked sweet beard. But it wasn't like people beards. His beards looked like little worms. And they had eyeballs in them. What the heck? His beard was alive. And the mom and dad alien walked over and said,
Lexi
and Izzy sat there and went, oh, what? Dude, I have no idea what that thing just said. And Alfred said, oh boy, guys, I'm in a lot of trouble. And so Alfred told his mommy and daddy in their language that Izzy and Lexus couldn't understand him. So he touched their throat right there with his little finger, and all of a sudden they could hear boop. And Mommy and Daddy Alien looked down and said, Alfred, you're in deep, deep trouble. Alfred said,
But I just wanted to go to the water slides.
And Mommy and Daddy Alien, Alfred, you are not allowed to take your bike out without our permission, especially to go to another world. What were you thinking? Alfred said, I'm sorry. And Mommy looked at him and said,
Alfred, you could have been killed. What if these people were mean and they tried to kill you? Remember Uncle Joe who got kidnapped down in Area 51?
Alfred said,
Yes, ma'am. I know, but I met these girls and they're so nice.
Dad peeped up and went,
What? Girls? You're not allowed to meet any girls.
he said, not
Alien girls, Dad. Human girls.
And Izzy and Alexis waved at him and said, hello. And Izzy went to shake their hand, and she was kind of shaking and trembling. She was kind of scared of them because they were lots bigger. And Daddy Alien looked down and said,
Are you girls gonna try and eat us?
Lexi and Izzy started laughing. Like we could eat you. Ew, that's gross. Daddy Alien said,
Well, are you nice?
and Alfred said,
Of course I'm nice, Dad. Look, we're playing at that water park.
He went, all right. So Izzy and Lexi looked at each other. And they asked Mom and Dad, what's going to happen to him? And Mom and Dad looked down at Alfred and said,
Well, Alfred, you've been very naughty. You took your bike out without telling us, and you jumped 4 worlds away. You're in big trouble, mister. Come on, get your bike. We're going home. You are grounded for eon.
Lexi and Izzy said, what the heck's an eon? And Alfred looked at him and said,
It's about a week.
I thought, Well, Alfred, will you ever come back? And he looked at his mommy and daddy and said,
I don't know. Mommy and Daddy might not allow me to.
And Mommy and Daddy Alien looked down and said,
Well, girls, if you promise to be nice to my boy, maybe after an eon, I will let him come back.
And he thought, oh, yay! And so Izzy thought to herself, like, wait, how the heck did you even know where we were? Or that we were even in our backyard? How did you get a hold of us? And Alfred said,
Well, I was on my radio, just scanning when I was flying around, and I heard you guys on my radio, and you were talking, but it sounded kind of funny, like you were in a can.
Izzy and Lexi laughed and said, we were talking through a can. I thought,
That's weird. It must have interfered with something. Was your string touching, like, aluminum?
And Lexi said, yeah, the string was touching the fence. I thought,
That's really strange. Well, I'll tell you what. You guys wait about 1 week and go out and play with the telephone. And I will try and get a hold of you on the radio. Either that, or I'll just come to your house.
And Lexi and Izzy said, that would probably be easier if you just came to our house, goofhead. Alfred said,
Yeah, I guess so. All right, guys. Come on, I'll take you home.
And Alfred's daddy looked at him and said,
No, you will not. Alfred, go get your bicycle and put it in the mothership. Girls, come on. I will take you home.
So Alfred hopped in his spaceship and drove it into the mothership and parked it. And they all climbed up on the big, huge spaceship, the mothership. And the mothership flew them home. And instead of landing, because it was so big, Alfred decided,
Okay, guys, stand right here.
and they stood on this circle, and he said,
I'll see you in a week. Hold on.
and Lexi went, hold on to what? And Alfred pushed a button, and it beamed them down. And they were on the porch before they knew it. Just like that. And Lexi and Izzy looked at each other and went, "Oh, we just got beamed down, Scotty." And they kind of giggled. They realized it was the middle of the night, like 2:30 in the middle of the night. And Lexi and Izzy both started to yawn. They went inside the door and laid down on the couch. And they kind of giggled for a minute and said, "Man, that was awesome." And they looked out the window and they could see the spaceship flying away. And it blinked. Bloop, 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 bloop. And they both knew that that meant, "See you later." And they quickly fell fast asleep. The end.